I don't know why, Meredith, but in my notes somewhere I have the word All Saints. Why did I write that down?
Right. There is actually an incredible All Saints connection to Hamilton. So this is for all my elder millennials out there. Nicole Appleton, one of the sisters from All Saints, was actually born right here in Hamilton.
Weren't they British?
Yes. Yeah. They're from the UK, but a Hamilton connection.
Thanks, Meredith.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome to Gritty History, a podcast from the City of Hamilton and Hamilton Civic Museums, taking you beyond the physical museums and diving into the fascinating stories from the city's past and present. In this audio series, we'll explore the people and places that make Hamilton, Ontario so special. Our first series, Liner Notes, digs into the work of Hamilton music. My name is Meredith Leonard, and I'm a senior curator at Hamilton Civic Museums. Joining me for this series is Russ Piva, aka StereoRuss, musician and host of Inside the Music with StereoRuss. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's press play.
We've all been to museums. We look at the images, we read the text, but do we ever think about who puts it all together? Today I'm joined by Meredith Leonard. She's the senior curator of learning and interpretation for the City of Hamilton and is the main mind behind the Punching In exhibit. Meredith, you're on the other side of the...
I'm on the other side. This is a wild experience, Russ.
Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a bit weird.
It's really weird. We're used to being on the same side.
Yeah, it's like we were teammates.
Yeah,
and now we're on opposite
now
teams.
I'm in the hot seat.
Yeah, you're on the hot seat. It's been such a pleasure working with you and learning so much from you, and your energy and enthusiasm for the music scene is definitely like not unseen. So thank you so much for all of the work you've been doing.
Oh, well, thank you, Russ, for being such a big part of this exhibition. I don't know if I'm jumping on your questions later, but when we started this exhibition, my colleague Megan Wiles and I, we had all the enthusiasm in the world and absolutely none of the knowledge required. So we reached out to the Hamilton Music Advisory Team, and they connected us with yourself and Sherry Sinclair, who really got us started and gave us such a strong foundation and grounding in Hamilton music that we could not have done this without you both.
When you say you had no knowledge, like, what do you mean by no knowledge?
Like, I can't even find the words to explain how little I knew about Hamilton music, and just music in general. Like, as a fan, but never really getting into the sort of the nitty gritty of it. I didn't know who the players were. I didn't know where the spaces were. I was like a history nerd, and so like bookish kind of person who never really explored the local music scene. And so this exhibition and work on this exhibition was really a privilege because it allowed me to see a really important part of the community that I hadn't gotten to experience before. And that's what's so great about my job is I get to take deep dives into these really interesting communities and meet really incredible people and just come to understand the city as a whole in a much better and richer way.
Where did the idea for this exhibit come from?
This feels like years ago, even though it wasn't. So the idea for this exhibition actually came from our director and our tourism and culture department at the city. We are fortunate enough to be hosting the 2026 Junos here in Hamilton. And the idea was being thrown around, but maybe we could do an exhibition that would be at the Visitor Experience Center that would highlight music in Hamilton. And it was sort of like, go. And so that was sort of the basis we were given and the direction, which was really great to have so much creative freedom, but also the most terrifying thing in the world when you're like, I don't know anything about this topic. So this exhibition was really shaped by the willingness of the community to share and by their enthusiasm for celebrating the local music scene and like all components and all parts of it. I was repeatedly struck by the generosity and kindness and the patience of this community to welcome we history nerds into their world and educate my entire team about music in the city. One conversation led to so many more. We'd have a conversation with Mark at Dr. Disc, and he'd be like, you need to talk to A, B, C, and D, and I'll make a call for you, and I'll connect you with these other people. And through those people, we learned more and got connected with more people. So it was just this really organic, sort of beautiful, like web of connections and contacts that really speaks to sort of the collective nature of music in Hamilton and the way in which everybody is so invested in the success of just the local scene and for themselves, but also for their colleagues and their friends. There was just a really great vibe and just this sort of overarching concern and care that everybody had for this community.
This almost feels like an open letter. An open letter from the curator to the community.
Yeah, it really was. This has been like such a privilege to get to experience this. And I've worked on a lot of exhibitions working with community members, and it's just the wonderful way that you get brought into a group and you feel that connection and that like commonality of purpose, and that enthusiasm. And it really fuels me to do my job. And whether it's hyping the local music community or working with different cultural communities to help tell stories, it's just a really wonderful part of what I get to do.
I feel like this is something you'd experience, not just with the music exhibit, but with all exhibits. But I am curious, like what made this exhibit distinct compared to your previous work?
Yeah, I think normally with exhibitions that I have worked on, we've come in with a modicum of understanding. Whereas with this one, we really felt we were starting at ground zero. And what's been so special is our learning process and just the way in which us moving through the music community has shaped the show that you see. So the exhibition that's on display is really the product of all of these conversations, of all of these people sharing their collections and their thoughts and their ideas with us. And it sort of really shaped that focus on the work of music to really highlight all of the efforts that go into this and all of the different people and tasks and jobs that are involved in the music we see or listen to. We might not give a lot of thought to that in the moment when we were just like, putting Spotify on and listening to a playlist, but there's so much visible and invisible labor that goes into making that happen for us. This exhibition was a chance for me and for our team to really lift that up and celebrate not only the end result, but all of the work and all of the effort and all of the sweat equity that goes into making that happen.
What was one surprising thing you learned?
Starting from the part where I knew nothing, all of this was fascinating. But what was so interesting and so new to me was visiting recording studios and just learning about all of the seemingly small details that make such a huge difference in the end, and just all of the different people involved and the kind of like the creativity that happens in those spaces. I was completely inspired by. When we're working on exhibitions, it's great to get people together and talk and throw out ideas and work on a whiteboard. And it was so, I don't know, comforting. I just felt like seen to see that happened in the music community too. Y'all get together, y'all throw around ideas, and amazing creative pieces come out of that. And it was nice to feel like, oh, I understand that part. I don't understand anything y'all do. I can't read music, but I definitely understand the process which produces it.
So you get tasked or you come up with this idea for this exhibition. And I'm saying, is it exhibit and exhibition? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, you can use both.
Okay. So you're doing this exhibition, or you're starting it, I should say. And then, you seek out expert opinions from people in the community. And then once you get kind of your information, what do you do with that information? How does it turn into, okay, I have some information to, here's the final product?
Yeah, I'm gonna back up a little bit and just sort of talk a little bit about this is for the museum nerds or the history enthusiasts. I think historically, curators were sort of the people who had the knowledge, who created the exhibitions. And more, and in my practice especially, we're working through having a different kind of process and having it be a community-led process so that we are really more facilitators and aggregators of information and stories than the ones who are telling the stories. So we are really looking to those people who have that lived experience and who have that expertise in the community to shape and get us started. So that's we turn to you and Sherry and everyone on the music advisory team and just sort of local experts, and gathered all of that information and all of those sort of facts. And we take all of that and we start thinking about how to shape it into a narrative that is accessible to everybody, whether it's music enthusiasts or people like me who don't know a lot but are interested in the topic. So we sort of come up with what we call an interpretive plan for the exhibition, which is basically like a story through line that takes you from beginning to end, and where we can sort of slot in all of those pieces of information, those stories, those incredible photos, or there's an object, and we sort of map those on to the sort of interpretive flow of the exhibition. And that sounds really simple, but that's what's taken the longest time with this show, is sort of figuring out how do we pull these stories in, and how do we knit them into this narrative that makes sense and that honors and does proud the community who gave us all of this information and led us into these spaces.
Honestly, for those musicians out there, if you're following along, you're like, wow, that's like writing an album. Because you have these ideas. You have a bunch of sound recordings on your phone. And then, okay, we're going to turn them into narratives, turn them into songs. And then you have, okay, I've got 5 songs or 15 or 30 or 100. And okay, now I need to pare this down. I think one of the issues, we'll call it an issue, call it like whatever it is you have all these great ideas. How do you decide what makes the final cut? Because I'm sure there's so much stuff on the cutting room floor that didn't make the exhibit.
Oh my gosh, yes. And this exhibition is not designed to be an encyclopedic look at music in Hamilton. It's really like an introduction, a starting point, an overview to encourage people to really lean into the topic and go experience music, listen to music, go see something live, shop at our local record stores. So it's not designed to be everything all at once. We've only got 500 square feet, so there was no way that was going to be able to happen. But what we really tried to do was represent the breadth and depth of music in Hamilton. It's such a huge topic, and there's so much content. So try to be like a little bit of a sampler of everything to give people a taste. And if they're interested in something, listen to the podcast episode, or lean a little bit into that idea, that topic. Go see a live show at one of our amazing venues in town. So it's the hardest part is sort of figuring out what's in and what's out, and sort of what do you do with all the information that's amazing and doesn't fit in a physical space. And part of that is the podcast. Some of that is things that'll be on social media or blog entries, sort of like I think probably would do with an album, right? Or you have Taylor's version that comes out later,
That's
right?
What I mean, yeah. Or like a B-side album, right? Or like, the extra takes. Yeah, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you were saying, you're talking to Mark at Dr. Disc, and then he introduces you to this person, that person introduces you to another person, and it's interesting seeing the web in the music scene, just how everyone's kind of connected and everyone supports one another.
Yeah, which was so amazing to be a part of, and we felt like. My colleague, Megan Wiles, our project manager for exhibitions, and I felt like we'd been invited to the cool kids table, and just that everybody was so lovely and so willing to help. And we had some fascinating conversations. I've learned so much and have a new love for music that comes out of the city.
Yeah. I know when you first walked into like any of the studios where there's Grant or Catherine or Halo, you guys are like, oh my gosh. And
right.
even as musicians, you walk in, like you can be wowed by a space. And I think when it comes to spaces, there's something really important about how it feels, how it looks. So when you're trying to come up with the feel of punching in, like how did you, how do you decide what feel fits for what you're trying to do?
Yeah, we did a Pinterest board. That was sort of our first step. But it was really shaped by our experience in learning about Hamilton music. We took so many pictures, and there was just this amazing experience of walking into those studios that you've mentioned for the first time, and just feeling like there is sort of like a little bit of like there's just a different energy there, right? And it's a great creative energy, and you're just like, this is the room where it happens, right? This is where the stuff goes on. And so we tried to capture some of that. Some of it was physical. Marconi from Halo lent us some scraps of wallpaper, so we actually reproduced some of
That's really cool.
the Halo look in the space. The guys at Catherine North were great in lending us some equipment. We've got some great stories and content from Grant Avenue Studios. So we were able to sort of bring in those vibes. And then we went out to experience venues. And then we chatted with people like Lou Molinaro and Ben Rispin, who lent us incredible images of gig posters that also sort of shaped that vibe. But we wanted to make sure it was Hamilton specific and that you could feel that this was Hamilton music and not just like Canadian music or music in general. So we tried to really riff off of some of those local pieces, those local spaces and like experiences and people who really inspired the sort of look and feel of the show.
For those that don't know, where is the exhibit?
So the exhibition is...
exhibition.
Oh, no, you can use both.
Okay.
The exhibition is at the Visitor Experience Center, which is located at 28 James Street North in downtown Hamilton. And it's on display throughout 2026, where Hamilton is celebrating a kind of year of music.
Yeah, and for those who are into music and they're listening and maybe don't know geographically where that is, if you've ever been to Art Crawl or Super Crawl, it's down that street. It's kind of near the end where the main stage would be. So if you're down for an Art Crawl one Friday, you can definitely just swing by and take a look. It's in the Visitor Experience Center, which
the former Tourism Hamilton offices.
Yeah.
So there's visitor information for visitors and locals in the front, and then we've got a gallery space in the back that hosts a temporary exhibitions on a rotating schedule.
Right. And this one's here for the calendar year of 2026.
Yeah. What
is the one thing you really hope visitors take away from going to this exhibit?
Oh, that's a big question. I hope that there is an appreciation and a little bit of love for what happens here in Hamilton and the creative work that people pour their heart and soul into in our city. So I hope that includes those who worked their entire life in the city, like Jackie Washington, and who had an amazing musical career, or it's some of the bigger acts like the Arkells that have come out of the city. There is such a wide variety of music production, whether it's classical coming from the Hamilton Philharmonic or local children's choir performances. There's just so many ways to appreciate and be involved in music in Hamilton. If you're enjoying this conversation, you might want to check out the Punching In exhibition, which explores the work of Hamilton's music scene, on display at the Visitor Experience Center, located at 28 James Street North throughout 2026. Now, back to our conversation.
If anyone's been listening to the podcast episodes, you know a chunk of it is on kind of career planning, career setting. So I'm just curious how you got into museum curation. What are some skills people should have? Things that you recommend if someone has been like following along and you know maybe they love music, maybe they love museums. They want to become a museum curator. Like, what advice would you give that person?
Oh gosh. Yeah, museum curation was not a field that I even realized existed until partway through my undergrad at McMaster. So it was sort of as a history and poli-sci major, I was like, what can I possibly do with this? And so started poking around and into museums. And it's been a really incredible field for the variety of different tasks you can do. If you're interested in working with physical things and objects, there are incredible collections and conservation roles that you can pursue. And those are a little bit different than the kind of work I do. I have a master's degree in museum studies, but I was really interested in working with community and working in education and sort of taking that learning part of our mission and really activating that. So I also did a master's in education, became a teacher. So I had sort of both of those purviews and perspectives on the field, which has been really helpful. This field really benefits when we have people come from different areas of expertise, right? To bring all of those voices and all of that expertise into the mix.
I love that. So if anyone has gleaned this from this conversation, my name's StereoRuss. I am a music person here in the city. And Meredith is you are now indoctrinated into the world of music. You are now, if I was the Wizard of Oz, I would give you a music note or something. I would give you something. You are now a musician. You're in the music scene.
This is like completely new knowledge as of March 2025.
But there's a quiz that comes along with it.
No.
So I have a music quiz for Meredith and anyone listening. If you're listening, here's a quiz for you all. Are you ready for this quiz, this Hamilton music quiz?
I am not, but here we go.
All right. Question number 1. Which Hamilton band formed at McMaster University and went on to achieve national and international success?
Ooh, we are at McMaster University right now, so I feel like this is like in the air. The Arkells?
The Arkells is the correct answer.
Yay!
I'm going to say a correct answer. I'm sure there's probably others that are less known. But yes, the Arkells. That's an easy one. So it's an easy
starting
one to
off a little easy. Great.
Yeah, and then it's all really hard.
It's all good.
Okay, question 2. List 3 current or past Hamilton music venues.
Ooh, current or past. Okay. We'll start with Bridgeworks, where we recorded an episode of this podcast. The St. Hollywood, we interviewed Lou Molinaro on one of the episodes here. And I'm going to go with Absinthe because it's right across from where my office is.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Very good. What are yours, everyone listening? Please comment.
Yeah, add other music venues, past and present, in the comments.
Okay, question 3. What iconic Hamilton recording studio, founded by Daniel Lanois, helped shape the sound of artists like U2 and Peter Gabriel?
Ooh, Grant Avenue Studios, who are also celebrating an important anniversary in 2026. It's their 50th.
Very good answer. Very good.
50 years of making music in Hamilton.
Question 4. Name 3 Juno-winning or nominated Hamilton musicians.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to start with Harrison Kennedy, Tara Lightfoot, and it feels cheap to say the Arkells, so I'm going to say Tom Wilson.
There we go. I love that. She gave 4, everybody. She gave 4. You're doing great so far. How are you feeling?
I'm still very nervous.
Okay, only 40 more questions to go.
Only 40 more, so easy.
3 more. Question 5. What independent record label, founded in Hamilton in the early 90s, played a major role in Canada's alternative music movement?
Ooh, Sonic Onion, whose director of operations we interviewed as one of our episodes, Lisa LaRocca.
Okay, question 6. Spell onion.
This is terrible. I've got like spelling bee nerves. As in like Sonic Onion?
As the way that Sonic Onion spells onion.
Unyon.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
I corrected this. So many people reading through this text were like, "Oh, you spelled this wrong," and I was like, "No, we didn't."
Yeah, and I even when I read it, I said union, even though it's onion. It's very confusing. Not the first, won't be the last. Last question.
Okay.
Knowing what you know about all the roles within the music industry, what role could you see yourself in?
Oh gosh. If I had significantly more knowledge, I actually really love writing. And so I would love to write about music in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure I'd be the most informed writer about it at the moment, but we're thinking about this in a perfect world. So I think sort of that is the area where I would be best suited.
Yeah, so like music journalism.
Yeah, let's say music journalism.
In that vein. And it's not really a quiz question. That's more of an open, every answer works kind of question. But yeah.
So 5 out of 5?
6 out of 6.
6 out of 6.
And then the 7th was like a bonus. Everyone wins that one. Thank you for playing, everybody. That was Hamilton Music Quiz with Meredith Leonard and StereoRuss.
A new part for Inside the Music, Hamilton Music Quiz.
Again, your enthusiasm for music and the work you do is not unseen. And for those who are going through the exhibit and going, wow, this is fantastic. Well, you got Meredith to thank.
And those who are like, oh, this is wrong, please leave us a note.
Yeah,
but be nice about it.
That was not Meredith. If there's any mistakes, that was not Meredith. Meredith, thank you so much for everything you've done. And it's been a real pleasure working with you, doing these podcasts and everything.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Like I said, without you and without the creative community that I found in the music scene in Hamilton, people who just care so much about this craft, we wouldn't have been able to pull off this exhibition. So thanks to you and thanks to everybody. I don't have enough time to name everyone involved, but just you know who you are. Thank you so much. And you've made this exhibition possible. Thank you for listening to the Gritty History Podcast, brought to you by the City of Hamilton and Hamilton Civic Museums. This episode was hosted by Meredith Leonard and Russ Piva. Produced and edited by StereoRuss Media. Original music by Emma Whale. This series' episodes were recorded at CFMU Studios at McMaster University, Catherine North Studios, and Bridgeworks. If you enjoyed listening, please share this podcast with someone who loves all things Hamilton and history. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you'd like to explore more, you can visit us online at hamiltoncivicmuseums.ca. Thank you for listening.